Hey everybody, welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League, the podcast that's always talking about spotted dick. I'm your host and commissioner, Mike Kablon. With me are my co-hosts Sierra Kato and Iffy Wadiway.
Hey.
It is, at time of recording, Monday, November 11th, and we don't need to talk about the election at length. That is not what this podcast is for. But I do want to point out that the first shot of this episode was Georgie going, "We all need to have a scream, right?" And I was like, wow.
How'd they know?
Really couldn't have timed that better.
Oh,
or they
yeah.
did like a last-minute edit.
Yeah, just run out.
Right.
Yeah, you're like, oh, the
You-
people need this.
Yeah, go to the field, please. Get the cameras.
They're like, this is evergreen. Everyone needs to scream every
Yeah.
week.
In American politics, it could have aired it any week, and it would have been
Well,
appropriate.
you know, I think there is some like fun thing that they could have done where they're like, well, this is probably going to air near the, the election was going to happen this year no matter what.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we'll get everyone needs to have a stream, and then we'll have the future is female opening, and we'll see which one that we,
Which one tests
Oh
better?
my god.
which one
Yeah.
we'll need on the day.
Yeah. It's like
They're-
when,
yeah.
like for the Super Bowl or the World Series or whatever, they print both sets of shirts.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, right.
And whichever team whichever team loses, they like ship it to another country.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need
Throw
these.
it in the ocean.
Oh yeah, they're one of the companies I like, Market. They sell before the Super Bowl and before so during the World Series, Market sold both Yankees World Champion and Dodgers World
Hell
Champions.
yeah, dude.
So I preemptively bought it, so even if
That's
they lost,
awesome.
I would still wear it.
That's really
And so
cool.
they've been doing that for recently, where for the Super Bowl it's both teams. So even if your team loses,
You can still get the shirt.
yeah,
That's very funny.
yeah.
Right
That
before.
feels
Go
more
ahead.
unique.
Yeah. I love misprinted stuff. I'm so mad that I didn't get. I went to one. We both went to When We Were Young this year,
Yes.
and the When We Were Young shirts had misprints of all the band names. They were
Oh,
all
man.
misspelled, and I'm like, I'm so upset that I didn't get one.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
Also, the next year's lineup just dropped.
Not for me. How are you feeling?
Oh, it's still so I was a huge yellow card guy.
Sure.
So much so that because they don't play that much.
Yeah.
That it's like that's enough to be out there. If I can feel you breathing, then it's keeping me awake. So
Wow, that
yeah.
was
Beautiful.
incredible. Also, one of the it's different now. One of the only bands who ever had like a black member.
Yeah. I mean, Pete Wentz was undercover for
That's right.
very
Pete Wentz,
long.
half black.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the hair he had still undercover. Like, what the fuck? He has this long. If you don't know now, Pete Wentz has long
hair.
straightened hair.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
whenever he cuts it short, it's so clear he's half black, and it's so funny. But now he looks like a vampire. And I don't know. Did you know their SNL story?
Fall Out Boy's SNL story. No.
Yeah. Okay, I just saw it for the first time, and now when I hear Dance Dance, I can't.
Okay, here
not
we
think
go.
of it.
Hit us with it.
Okay, so basically, long story short, it's when they're fresh, they're a band. Also, it's good to go back and watch this video if you're listening and
The
gonna do
Dance video.
No.
Oh, okay,
This is going
sorry.
to be their SNL performance.
Sure.
The only time they've been on SNL
Oh.
because of this story.
Okay, here we go.
Val's nodding her head, so you know this story. So they're in the rehearsal and they're jumping around when they're playing the song.
Yeah.
And they're kind of like, hey, these stages are interconnected, so you don't jump around that much
Oh,
because
okay.
you're fucking up the rest of the show when
Yeah.
you're doing that. And so naturally, when you tell a
Oh,
pop
yeah.
punk band
Sure.
of that era not to do something,
They're
they
gonna
do
do
it.
it.
And when you watch it knowing that, it's so
Yeah.
funny because it feels even more I'm like, oh, you're doing it even
Oh, that's
more. Like you're
amazing.
being kind of a shithead. And they're jumping up and down and they're having a blast. And at some point, I think Pete kicks a hole into
Hell yeah,
but you
dude.
don't see it. But Pete
Yeah.
mentions it. Never been asked back
Of course.
since then. But it's so funny when you watch it where you're like, oh, it seems even more egregious when they've
Yeah.
been told not to, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, y'all did the but also knowing how big they are now and seeing this is
Yeah.
pre-rock star Fall Out Boy, so you're like, oh yeah, these guys.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a very fun, and now I just see Pete jumping up on that second platform for no reason.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so
There's an old video of I don't know if you guys remember Hello Goodbye. They had one
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of okay, kind of big hit. I love them. There's
My
a
sister
video.
was a big Hello Goodbye.
Yeah.
fan.
If you haven't seen the movie Dee Dee, it's a plot point. Anyway,
yeah.
you can watch a performance of them, I think, on David Letterman, one of the late night shows, where the story goes they were told you're going to play to a track. And they're like, no, we'd rather play our own instruments live. And then they went, no, sorry, you're going to play to a track. So if you watch their performance, they're all playing their instruments like this. They're like specifically doing like it's like they're puppets.
Puppeteer.
They're doing like fuck you playing the song.
Yeah.
Because that was they were like fuck you.
Yeah.
If you're just going to play a track, then why are we here?
Yeah, that's so funny.
I will say, Lana Del Rey's infamous SNL performance as like, I don't know if...
No,
I
not
don't know.
familiar.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So she performed, I think, for the first time, whatever, and kind of her first like national debut in a weird way. Was like so bad that it
Whoa.
actually turned me on to her because I was
Okay.
like, what is she? I was like, is this like a fuck you to us? Like, is this fuck you to us? What is happening? It was so bad that it actually made me a fan of her music because then I listened to her music and was like, oh, this is what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
There was like a technical thing, but
Sure.
anyway, sometimes like a wacky performance, right? It's
Yeah.
like
It
you're
can
like,
go your
wow,
way.
that's a real artist.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
Lana Del Rey is having a moment right now where it really is, unfortunately, like, igniting and activating that male hubris that we all kind of have, where we're like, I think I'd have. You might not know this,
Oh,
but
her
she
new husband?
her new husband is just like some fisherman somewhere.
Oh, hell
Oh
yeah,
no,
dude.
no, he's an alligator boat tourman.
Yeah.
I love that.
Like
for her.
just
That's
the
amazing.
most regular, but like
Yeah.
I was
Pretty-
for so long I was like, oh, it's Shooter gonna shoot when I see Lana because like we're both LA Angelinos.
Sure.
I'm in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Everyone was being weird about her body. I was like, I'm a African Southern. I love a thick queen.
Yeah.
Let's go. My like ideal body types are Elvish or Dwarven. Like if you can be a silhouette in a D&D book, I want to date you. So I was like, let's go. I don't know. Yeah, it's so like that's the whole thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I will say there is a kind of encouraging. I'm all about the. I feel like there's some controversy because everybody goes, "Oh, he's like this, and she's this amazing, top earning lady with the beautiful career or whatever." And then there's also the Selena Gomez, Benny Blanco. That's a little different. That's
a
more
little
about
different.
Yeah, he's
They're
just
both celebrities.
they're both
they're
celebrities.
both
He's
very
just
talented
kind of
and
ugly.
successful. I know, so that's kind of mean. But I would say,
Oh, that's what you were trying to mean. You didn't want to
but
say
I'm
he was
saying-
ugly. I'll say it for you.
oh no, I've said it.
Yeah.
But
Sierra
I will
thinks
say,
Benny Blanco's
I'm
ugly.
Oh my God,
I'm
Val
all
just sent us
for
a
it.
photo of Lana Del Rey and her normal husband.
Oh yeah. Beautiful.
Oh.
Good pair.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Continue.
Oh no, I'm just saying. It took me a minute, but I think I've come around to it, and I go, I want them to find, healthy love,
Sure.
and if it means, you're maybe in a relationship where the looks don't match up for your audience or whatever, like maybe that's fine.
Yeah.
Because there's got to be something else going on, right?
And now they
Yeah,
can
big old dick.
Huge.
That's what you're afraid to say.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
alligator
Oh, God,
boat man dragging it around. The boat is dipping when they're they're trying. He's like, I actually have to have 2 less people on my boat because I got a hog.
This is not what I meant.
That is exactly what Sierra was trying to say.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Rest assured, your podcast app has not skipped forward. This is still TV Chef Fantasy League, where we're supposed to be talking about cooking shows.
Honestly, at this point, it's on brand for us.
true.
Like
Yeah.
we can
That's
no
true.
longer deny that.
We only apologize that it's
Sorry.
your first episode,
Yeah.
but
Sorry for the classrooms that are listening to this.
we know a lot of substitute teachers out there just wheeling in a
Oh,
radio and
sure.
pushing play on this. And they can take a
I
nap
love
behind the
that.
desk.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, it's dessert week.
What? What are we talking about?
It's dessert week, which, okay, am I the only one who finds it kind of? To me, I'm like the whole show is dessert week.
Yeah, this is my
Yeah,
complaint.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but we just had autumn week. I'm like,
That's true.
We're getting tapped out.
Yeah.
Oh god, no, yeah, this is out of control. I'm not okay with it. Well, because then I thought dessert, and then they're all like, unless you're like Paul and you call it pudding, but I'm like, well, I thought the whole thing about Britain was they call it
yeah,
pudding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I don't understand. It's like, what's next week? Baking week?
Use flour week.
Yeah.
It is Prue's favorite week of the year. Here's my proposed topic of conversation: is this Dylan's heel turn week? Did anyone else notice the vibe shift with Dylan, or is that just me?
He's bad boy now. Like I said, he's testing out his hotness. He's seeing the different vibes of. First, he had the sweet nerdy boy hot. And he's
yeah.
like, what if I was like What if I was like,
Okay, I'm gonna encourage people to watch this episode on YouTube just to get Iffy's face in that.
what if I was like,
Yeah, you're really missing out if you're just listening. You're missing out.
No, yeah, okay. I feel like sentiment toward him is turning because everyone's like, look at fucking Boy Wonder over here. Every minute was just like, of course Dylan's doing it right. It's a little goody two shoesy. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I mean, I noticed. So yeah, for sure, no one
Yeah.
likes like the top dog. You know, he really crushed it this week. But also, I kind of noticed there was a little bit of a personality dearth this week because we lost Nelly last week.
Interesting.
There's no more like, you know what I mean? Like and maybe, I'm sure like obviously there's a lot of cute, fun people.
Everyone's nice.
Everyone's
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah,
but yeah, maybe there wasn't as much like to focus on with like a funny Nelly bit
That's
or like
true.
a funny, you know,
I think
I don't
you're
even
right.
know, Andy doing something funny.
Yeah.
So then, yeah, it was
Well,
like a lot on.
Yeah,
Dylan.
because I feel like Dylan early on was respectfully very oafish. Like he was just trying to get his
beefing on
sea
his
legs.
skateboard, yeah.
So like I think they were kind of leaning on that, and now he's kind of getting in. He's locked in, and so it's less like, oh, I'm having fun. He's like, no, I'm here to win now.
Yeah.
I'm here to win.
And by the way, you're old and decrepit.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of that.
That's the other half. It's like people are hating on, but then he's also like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Of course I'm only 20.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
God, that is
I
great.
ride skateboards.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I don't trust you guys near this or whatever. When they
I
were
did think
nearby.
that was
That was
funny.
funny. And then
That's
they were
fair.
like, you're the one. And I was like, yeah, he's just the same guy who fell off his chair to grab his water bottle.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the heck?
He's done a full 180 since
Yeah.
being on this show.
At this point, he knows, and he's just trying out the different levels of hotness. Trying to,
What better time to explore? You're in your 20s, try new things.
Yeah. He's like, what does Daddy Dylan look like?
Yeah,
That's going to be the
exactly.
next one we get.
Yeah.
It's going to have like a leather, like the leather harness.
Yeah.
Oh.
The little cap. Do you know what I mean? The little leather cap.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The signature challenge this week was to make 8 perfect meringue nests with at least 2 fillings. Val, in her notes, our producer Val, from where I'm sitting, I can't make eye contact with her, wrote that she doesn't like meringues.
Oh.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
I'm sorry.
Is it like, are we saying just all meringues or like the hard crispy and then like if it's like a meringue pie?
No, a meringue pie is fine. It's the hard and crispy. It's a texture thing.
I'm
love
rocking
it.
with you. It's,
Oh, I
yeah,
love it.
like I have to let it sit in my mouth to enjoy it because the
Yeah.
crunchiness.
No. You should take me to a restaurant. They got a pavlova on the dessert menu. I'm in. I'm sold.
Okay,
All
interesting.
right. It is a little astronaut ice creamy, you know? It's very
Yes.
like
Yes.
desiccated.
Okay. I think that the filling is really key because if you're just eating the meringue itself, of course it's dry and crusty. But that's like saying I'm going to eat like pizza crust and saying you don't like pizza. It's like you got to
Yeah.
have
Oh,
fillings and
okay.
toppings.
I've been
Fair
doing it
enough.
wrong.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I will say, I think as a child, sometimes I would get meringues like from like the grocery store,
Sure.
and then just like you know
Oh,
when you're
house
just
it
like
alone.
a sugar
Yeah.
a sugar head.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, I guess I just eat these because what else will I have that's
Yeah.
sweet? And maybe that's not the right way.
No, you gotta get a good filling in. One of my favorites isn't here in LA, but if you're in New York, the restaurant Cosme does a corn meringue, like a sweet corn husk meringue.
Whoa, corn
Really
husk.
good. They have a sister restaurant here called Damien in downtown LA, and they do a similar dessert, but it's like hibiscus or something, which is like not my favorite flavor.
Yeah.
Corn very up my alley. But I guess if you like hibiscus, go to Damien.
Hibiscus is such a pretty flower and a beautiful color, but sometimes the flavor doesn't
Garbage
live
flavor.
up to the rest.
Yeah.
You know, it's like hibiscus tea. Ooh, that should be amazing.
Yeah, and
then
it's
you're like,
really
"Yeah."
not. It's really not. It's just like it'll stain your clothing and your teeth.
Right, it's just
Yeah.
like strong dye.
Sort of a pain.
Like I like Jamaica, but I think that's the
Jamaica's
like,
different.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the limit,
That's
but
a
the
good
hibiscus
version.
tea, yeah, never quite. Because I think I go in being like, ooh, this will be like Jamaica adjacent. No,
Yeah.
no, it's across the street.
Oh.
Ilyene made her pina colada nests with pineapple and lime and rum and coconut. You've had a pina colada.
Yeah. If you like me, coladas.
Getting hot in the rain.
Yes.
We have to pay that person now.
Careful.
Yeah. Ilyene was really excited. She likes this week. Paul jokingly offered a handshake right up top just because he likes pina coladas. I'm not counting that as points. That's not a real. It's not a true
Wow.
handshake.
You're on thin
Do you
ice,
disagree?
Paul. No, I
Oh,
get
okay.
it. But he's on thin ice. Give a real one or don't give it at all.
Yeah.
Because bit, if it's a full handshake, if it's a bit handshake,
Then
I mean,
then I'm counting it. I'm
he's
counting a bit.
teased Georgie like way too many times.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, he's playing around with the notion of a handshake.
He knows the power of it. And I
Yeah.
don't like that.
He's got to be humble with it.
Yeah, yeah.
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 Great power, great responsibility.
Yeah, you shouldn't be self-aware of it, you know.
Yeah. Ilene, so they made this whole big deal about how you got to bake it low and slow, and she's going, I'm going to go slightly higher temperature, and of course it led to cracks. She said that looks like ass about her own bakes when it was done, which I appreciate. They said it was a shame how it looked, but Paul took 2 bites, and Allison was like, wow, Paul's going in for 2 bites. Curds really sharp, makes it delicious. It's like a pina colada. Prue thinks it's lovely. People liked it.
We've said this before, and I'll say it again. I love that this is a show that, like, if it tastes good, we're going to talk about it tasting good. We're not
Yeah,
going to be
yeah.
so focused on the looks, even though we would like it to look better. But if it tastes good,
If it tastes good, that's really all that matters.
yeah.
Christian made his smell the roses nests with cherry and rose water. He thinks that meringues are too sweet. He did a clever thing where he put the wooden spoon in the oven door to help with the temperature differential.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
that's science.
That,
right
yeah,
there.
that was
That's an
science. That was
engineer.
very clever. Yeah. Those are the kinds of skills I thought would take him further in this
Yeah,
competition.
Poor
but
guy.
the flavors you just described is what's holding him
Oh,
back
man.
because I feel like I am a rose water head, like
sure,
rose.
love it. Masty Malone's rose ice cream all day.
Oh my gosh, it had such a moment too out in L.A. like in the Cerritos area, which is like the big like kind of Asian area in that
Yeah,
part of town.
Yeah.
And with you, it was. I remember I was just deep in it, but now I'm like, it's a little much. Like I
Okay.
think rose is a very specific taste.
Yeah.
And like it, I think just like cavalierly. Ooh,
You're out of control.
yeah.
Tearing
Order.
down the studio.
Order in the court, everyone. y'all don't see it if y'all listening, but I got this gavel that
What is the inscription on that? I've never read it.
It says Gall Gavern, President, 1956, California Association.
Oh, it's real.
Of Milk and Dairy Sanitarians.
Oh, I thought it was going to be like a joke that like Jesse Thorne had a prop thing in here that was like,
Well, it's for John
Judge-
Hodgman.
yeah.
Judge Hodgman.
okay.
Yeah,
I
that
thought
makes
it was gonna
sense.
say
I'm
that.
sure they
But
probably
that's- yeah.
use it for that.
yeah, I thought it
yeah,
would have
yeah.
said John Hodgman, honorable presiding
it's-
judge over dumb little bits or whatever.
Yeah, nah.
But
I
yeah,
guess
it's good
they didn't
reason.
want to go the full 9.
Yeah, no,
But,
rosewater. It's a strong flavor. You got to be careful with it.
They also said, it tasted like soap
Tastes like
later, which
soap,
is so funny. But
you
I
know.
do have a rosewater like spritz thing that I use sometimes,
Ooh.
and so I do think if I use that a lot, and then I tasted something that's rose, I would
Yeah.
associate it with that because it's so strong of a smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do feel bad for Christian because I mean he always makes beautiful stuff. He was like so happy with the way it
Yeah.
looked. It did turn out really nice,
And then they hate
and
it.
they hate his flavors, and it's so funny.
I feel like he needs to work in a Starburst factory because the way he just like combines flavors, it reminds me of the blue Starburst, and you'd be like, oh, strawberry banana, oh,
Oh,
guava,
yeah.
and some other shit.
That's a deep cut.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot about Blue
All,
Starburst.
all the Starburst
It was
heads
like a
know.
mystery. Was that
No, it
the-
was
or
just like
no, it was-
tropical flavors.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, the blue bag. The blue
Yeah,
bag. Oh,
yeah,
got
the
it.
And that one was one where every color was good because you put the lemons to the side and you're like, yuck.
I agree. Some
Sure.
Yeah.
people
Last
love
resort.
lemon Starburst.
Yeah.
I'm like, why?
I remember.
Yeah.
Wait, are you a lemon Starburst person?
No.
Oh.
Okay, we were about to kick you. we were about to kick you off the pod.
No, I mean, pink, I guess.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
likes pink.
Yeah,
That's
pink's
the
the best
one.
But
one.
That's
I
the
wouldn't say I have a strong opinion in the way that I do about Skittles and stuff.
What's
Yeah.
the Skittles opinion?
Oh my gosh,
Well,
yeah.
I like tropical Skittles.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like
yeah,
the berry.
Yes.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Am
But-
I still
but,
allowed
like-
on the podcast?
Yeah, no, that's good. But yeah, no, I feel like orange is okay. Yellow, get it out of here.
What about red?
Pink, amazing. Red is the sleeper. Red
cherry?
was the one. Is how when people was like, I want all the pink ones. I was like, great, then I'll take the red. And they're like, okay, fine. I was like,
Yeah. I was that kid. I was like,
Yeah.
fine, take the red. I want pink all day.
Yeah, I feel like I don't mind. Yeah, I think the yellow, it's just too strong, right? But orange is kind of,
Yeah,
it's like
it's-
kind of the same idea.
yeah.
Orange is like the platonic ideal of what you want the yellow to be. You're
Yes.
like, I want a
Right,
little
they
zip,
shouldn't
a
have
little
gone so
citrus.
far.
Yeah, lemon they went too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
But there are like
Oh.
some like yellow champions. People who are like, no, yellow's the best one. It's like,
Right. Well, there
you
has
mean.
to be because anytime somebody, anytime there's like a collective,
Yeah.
this one's the bad one. Like, people.
yeah, someone's like,
love
I
that.
like being the different.
Yeah.
Yeah, every group of friends needs like the garbage dump where you're just like, here, you take the
Here,
yellows.
please.
Yeah. Anyway, where are we? Dylan made his coconut illusion nests, dark chocolate and passion fruit. So cute. I love their little coconut shells. I'm like, sell these.
The way that he painted it, and it looked like the texture of coconut skin.
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess. Yeah.
That's
it was
what he was worried about it cracking, which I'm like, sure, just like on a technical level, but I'm also like, coconuts crack.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
would look
that's
like
a
a
good point.
coconut.
Yeah, you're good.
You
You're
know
safe.
what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, they talked about how it was risky for him to use a mold. He talked about how it cracks all the time when he tries it at home, and I was like, then don't do it here.
Like, nah, I believe.
Oh boy.
There's a savage bit of editing where he said, the first time I did this, I broke almost all of them, and then they cut to Ilyin breaking hers, and I was like,
Oh,
you don't gotta do
savage.
that.
Yeah, yeah, especially when they're on the same team. Y'all probably don't notice, but they on the same team. So you really just
Sowing division from within.
yeah,
Right.
don't like that
No
behavior.
need.
Dylan talks about how food is like emotion for him. He talked about how when he was a kid, if a burger fell apart, he would cry. You're already laughing.
I mean, I hope so. I have kids. You know, isn't that a thing for all kids?
If a burger fell apart, cry.
Well, like, only if it falls apart. I was thinking like on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
That's different. If your ice cream falls on the ground, that's
Right.
worth crying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was picturing like, in
He
like
takes one bite.
poorly assembled
Oh.
burger, you bite one end, the middle squishes out.
And he's like on the floor. In
Yeah,
a puddle.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's too bad.
But, he's a sensitive little boy.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, his bake was good. He baked 15, and he was like, I don't need all these. He had 12 good ones. They called it original and delicious, and he got a handshake for it. Wow. Dylan, okay, we should talk about this right up front. Dylan swept this whole episode.
Insane.
He had a perfect week of a handshake, a technical win, and Star Baker.
Wow.
I was so afraid when Nelly went home because in my head, Nelly was my ringer, and that the last second I was like, well, Dylan can show out. And
He
man,
could.
he
He really
it's
did.
like he felt me. We had slut to slut communication. I went to sleep. I'm putting this on him. I think he's a freak now. Now I've fully given in that he's out there, he's slanging that thing.
He's gotta be.
And me and him are connected. You don't cut the little thing in your eyebrow if you're not,
Yeah.
lower the equator every
Interesting.
time you get her home, or him, or them.
Yeah. Sure. Look, sluttiness knows no gender.
Exactly. Trust me, I know. I'm in their DMs. Sorry.
I'm more astounded that sluts have slut-to-slut communication, that you can
Yeah.
just telepathically
Sure,
communicate
yeah,
with a
that's
fellow
good.
slut.
I have a meme where it's like a silhouette of two humans, and it's like connecting
Yeah.
this green thing, and it says slut to slut communication, and I haven't got to use it yet, but I
Well,
cannot.
I know
wait.
one person you can
yeah,
send it
yeah.
to right now.
Yeah.
Just posted under Dylan's post.
Just in general, do you have any further thoughts on Dylan having a perfect week?
I just hope he doesn't fizzle out, because
Sure.
I think we've learned in the lifetime of this show that someone being on a roll does not mean that they make it all the way to the end. Sometimes they make one mistake and they're out of here. So I just hope the consistency stays there. He doesn't let it get to his head, because we are seeing a little heel turn, and you get a sweep sometimes.
Yeah. You get
And-
too big, and the universe drags you back down.
Yeah. So I'm just hoping he just stays humble. He does some of the yoga that he learned on his travels, calms down,
Yeah.
and we just take this through.
Okay.
Note he was in the bottom last week, and I think
Yes.
that did motivate him.
Huge
so
bounce
that's
back.
like pretty, I don't know, good or bad depending on how
Yeah.
he feels next week. But I
Yeah.
mean, it's pretty. It was, I do think also like even he's pretty even keeled. Like even when he drops something, like he's like pretty like
Cool, calm,
okay,
collected.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that or whatever, right? So. I feel like in the way that, he is on a high. I don't think he's like ever really like too crazy, like complacent.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll always be pushing himself, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
It seems
Like
it.
Big Sean said, last night took an L, but tonight I bounced
Sure,
back.
bounce back.
You know that one, right?
Yeah. It comes
Sing the
back,
rest of it.
It comes back. Last night I took an L. Tonight I bounce back. I don't know the rest
not
of it, but
wrong.
I
No,
actually,
yeah.
I actually do know
That is
it.
correct. Yeah.
And then, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what heck comes after that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he bounced back.
But Big Sean has a very pleasing voice. Like I like to listen to him rap.
Which one's Big Sean?
He's the one he used to do a lot
I've
of
never
songs.
sounded like an
He
old
He's the one.
did,
white man.
Oh, you remember that one song? Ass.
yeah.
Now stop. Now
yes.
make that motherfucker.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
Big
yeah,
Sean.
yeah. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Go stupid, go stupid, and then he it's really his like
He
biggest
dated
one.
Naya Rivera.
Yeah, the one from
Oh.
Glee who
Yeah.
passed
Yeah,
away.
Naya
yeah,
Rivera.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. My so he has the verse where he's like, my girl is making more money than me and shit.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
he's
yeah.
On Glee and
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, good stuff.
I love that for him.
Yeah, yeah, that is from that song too. Yeah.
That's how I knew he was
Yeah.
dating Naya
Okay.
Rivera.
All right. Well,
Thank you for educating me.
Rest in peace, Naya Rivera.
yeah.
Yes, of course. Right. Okay, so Georgie
Back to our favorite. All right.
made Auntie Meryl's plum nests almond, orange, amaretto, plum. She said that she practiced so much for this, and yet overwhipped her batter. They started deflating. She started over. That is a half point for Georgie. She told Paul that she's been watching his videos. She could do it with her eyes closed in the last 2 weeks. So it's named after Auntie Meryl. She dedicated to her auntie's recipe. They showed a picture of Auntie Meryl, not dead.
Oh,
So
Live and
it's
kicking.
right there. Yeah, yeah.
Nice, nice.
They said it had good colors. It did slide a little because she piped it wrong, but nice flavors, beautifully balanced. She also had cracks, and they didn't seem to care. They didn't talk about it at
Yeah.
all. Maybe they just cut it out of the
Yeah,
edit.
yeah, yeah. Maybe they did cut it
Yeah.
out, but yeah, I guess it's sort of like they assumed that would happen, and they're just like, well, I'm gonna bite into this
Right.
anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if it tastes good, it tastes good. Whatever. Jill made her just peachy nests with raspberry and peach. Tinned peaches. What are your thoughts?
I don't want to hate him. Yeah, I love a.
I know. I feel like I
Yes.
would drink the syrup. Right?
Yes,
You
what
gotta
I was
drink
just
the
about to
syrup
say.
after.
That
Exactly.
syrup. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, it's a full meal. Full meal.
Yeah.
You got your solids, your liquids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're of a generation where that was like served to us like in our lunchbox. Just like
Yes.
a little cup of
Oh
like
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
canned
those.
peaches.
That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. It's just
Sometimes
straight
you
sugar
like
for a
It's so
child.
much sugar.
Where you see a friend and they trying to throw is like, don't throw away the juices.
That's
If you're
the
not
best
gonna have
part.
the
Yeah,
juices.
yeah.
I'll
So
drink the
You can
juice.
have the
Yeah,
fruit.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
the
yeah, I
juice.
want
Yeah,
the
yeah.
juice.
In fact, I prefer
Yeah.
juice.
Sometimes I did have some, like sometimes I would just drink the juice and give the fruits to my
Yeah,
friends.
exactly,
Like I got
yeah.
what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
needed.
I don't want fiber.
Here's
Get
the
that out of
snacks.
here.
Yeah, who needs the shit?
Gross.
I'm a child. I'm never gonna die.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I did. So I thought it was unusual that Paul was like, I can taste the tinned peaches and I don't like them. I'm like, that's the best
Right.
part.
And
I-
Jill was
look-
like, I love those.
Yeah.
At this point, what the fuck's going on with Paul's taste buds? Like he's just like we gotta call it out. So many things you don't like. Good peaches. You think what was it? Matcha. You don't
Oh,
like.
yeah, don't
like
like
what?
matcha, yeah.
Oh
They-
my
no spice-
gosh.
no spices.
No
Yeah.
spices.
Spices,
Just
please.
too spicy. I'm
Hold
like
the
Paul.
spices.
What's going on?
Yeah, I trust him to make
No
my
rose
white
water.
bread and not much else.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
He
it.
like
Yeah,
gave his taste buds to a witch to look that good. That's what, at this point, that's what happened.
Jill talked about how great Auntie Amy had an ice cream shop. Okay. Given Jill's age and the fact that she called her Great Auntie Amy, I have to assume that she has passed. But I could not find any direct evidence that she had passed, so I cannot in good faith award any points here.
All right, that's true.
I feel like it's also like maybe so great aunt could be like so it's like your grandparent's sister.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be like a really young sibling or something.
That's
Well,
true.
But also,
Or
my
not
my
necessarily.
big butt here is, we all saw what was it, Prince Peter or whatever, who looked like
What are you talking about?
he was the one in the royal family.
Oh,
he was
the
the one who
old
always
one?
looked dead
Oh,
all
Oh,
the time.
Philip.
Oh,
or
sure.
something?
Prince-
Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
Prince
yeah.
Philip.
one of those
Ancient man.
pieces.
Who looked like
Yeah.
Act One, from The Mummy, like
No,
every
I know.
time.
But then was like 92,
Yeah,
which like yes is old, but also like I think there's some like
okay,
evil.
we're people of
Yeah.
color.
There's people.
Our
rotting-
old people
I mean,
look
evil.
Amazing.
even older.
Yeah.
It's like Sojourner Truth when she died. I was like, I thought she'd been dead. Like what are we talking? Like I looked at her in the history book. It was like, damn, Sojourner, thank you for everything. You're not here anymore.
I think that's
And then-
true for old. Okay, people of color. I think.
Yeah.
There's like a cliff. It's like you look amazing for your age. You look amazing for your age. You look
Right,
amazing for your
right.
age. And then one day you wake up and you're fucking ancient.
It's-
Right, and I wonder if it's like we just don't see many, and so it's like also like oh
No.
because that. But then yeah, I don't know. It's like we need to graph this out. We need some correlating photos.
Yeah. We need a graph where the x-axis is age and the y-axis is hotness.
yeah.
Okay, I lied about Sojourner Truth. She died in 1883, so I definitely didn't see. I
And
was not
alive.
around.
Yeah,
I
who
was
were
not
you thinking
alive.
of?
I don't know.
I thought you
else,
meant just like in
maybe?
pictures
I-
or on the
yeah.
back of a quarter or something.
Yeah, it's definitely someone who was like that old, but I don't. I'm not gonna say the name too.
It's not a history podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
We're
Google.
dumb. There's a
I
podcast
just hope
full of
someone was
dummies.
this.
listening and was like, "Damn, if he old as hell."
If he looks
1800s.
great.
Wow,
He looks
it looks
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
Allison asked Jill if you could celebrate. How would you be celebrating? Jill said, I'd be at the pub with my dog and my husband in that order. Jill really rags on her husband this episode.
Surprise, because we agreed they have the cutest little relationship.
Yeah. I think they
phone call.
have like a, the old Borscht Belt joke of like, take my wife. No,
Yeah.
please, take my wife.
Yes.
You know,
Uh-huh.
it's like they've been married for 23 years. They clearly love each other, but it is a lot of throwing each other under the bus.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, and that bus is double-decker.
They're British. It's a
Yeah,
gigantic
It's,
bus.
I guess, yeah, and I feel like that is the British thing too. Their humor is like, I'm miserable,
Yes.
but then it's like, actually, that's
We're okay.
part
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
love,
yeah.
I
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
I
I
don't
feel
know.
like they were loving it. They're like, oh, this is fun. Like I said, I feel like British humor is like we're just gonna take the piss out of everything and
Yeah,
like not
yeah,
take
yeah.
it too seriously. But it did. Like I had a real good British night when I was last in London because I had like a cornetto while I was waiting for the bus.
Yeah.
Then me and him sat on the second story and we were like, this was fun, and it was raining. It was great. I was drunk, so that's probably amplified it. But you know,
I feel like I'm not the first person to talk about this in America, but in like Spain and Portugal, there's a cookie called Filipinos. They're just called Filipinos.
Oh, no.
It's like a shortbread cookie coated in chocolate. They're pretty good.
yeah.
And then there's also a cornetto that is flavored with the it's like an Oreo cornetto, but it's
Called the
Filipinos cornetto,
Well-
and it's really fucking good.
Well, they do have a. Well, that's great because they have a candy in London called minstrels. So,
Oh no, really?
Yeah. So I'll just get some
Wow.
minstrels and Filipinos next time
Yep.
I
Yeah.
get out
All
there.
Throw 'em in a
all the
little
candy you couldn't have in
package.
America.
Yeah, they're too afraid the woke mind virus. Oh, yo,
Let us have
you let us have
minstrels.
it. Come next for
yeah.
our next episode where Nick Fuentes come on.
Oh, God.
I
yeah.
will punch him in the neck if I ever see him in real life.
I
And
am
I-
afraid to
Good
ask
stuff.
this. Who is Nick Fuentes?
Oh,
this is the
good.
first time I'm not gonna
Okay,
answer
great.
it.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, he'll come across
Yeah.
his internet.
Yeah.
presence.
Sometimes I enjoy being unplugged.
Yeah, it's
basically
good.
like-
People are like, "Here's things to be
yeah.
angry about." I'm like, never
Yeah.
heard of it.
It's like if you don't want to run into like the most annoying boy from
Yeah,
your
he's
fucking
Okay,
high
yeah,
school,
he's
middle
just
school,
another
like,
bad right wing.
Yeah.
Okay,
podcast.
yeah.
And,
I
like-
figured from context.
Yeah.
I can pick up context clues, but it's just like I don't know. There's a specific.
Right.
We don't
He-
need to.
He'd
Yeah.
be like, he'd be defending those cookies.
Yeah. Also, this is a pod that where we talk about the Great British Baking Show and other cooking shows. So sorry if any deep right wingers are listening and are surprised. You chose a podcast with 3 people of color hosts.
Yeah.
And if you don't
Liberal
fuck with
coastal
that
elites. I don't know what
and
to tell
trans
you, man.
lives, you can eat shit. Really. Don't let me catch you trying that around me.
Yeah.
That's it. That's our
Okay.
segment.
Yeah. I don't mean to sound like I'm sweeping this under the rug, but
No, you're not. We have a whole podcast
no,
that we do
Yes,
that we're not
like,
doing.
Absolutely, trans lives matter. That is such a separate issue from the fact that Jill had cracks in her meringues. Oh, Jill had cracks. Christian and Georgie both helped her plate, so it's 1 point apiece for helping a fellow baker. And Paul didn't like the tinned peaches, but otherwise it was really good.
Yeah, that's how we got there. Because what the fuck, Paul? All right, there we go.
All right. And finally, Sumaya made pomegranate and plenty more nests with, okay, here we go. Walnut, pomegranate, apricots that have been poached in tarragon and honey and toasted rice powder in the meringue. Wild flavor combination.
Yeah.
I couldn't even begin to put that together in my head.
That's true. But she put, you know what? I kind of like, because she would always have those complex things going on, and then
Yeah.
when she, crushed that showstopper
Right,
with all the
right.
vegetables,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, like she knows what she's doing.
Let
you
her
know?
take the
so
wheel.
then
Yeah.
now I was like, oh wow.
Yeah,
I guess,
it didn't
like,
pay off
It
this
doesn't
time.
always work, but
Yeah.
I always forget how old Sumaya is because I'm like, she's always so cute. And she's 19.
I think she's
Yes.
18 filming.
Yeah, so that's why she's so
Yeah.
cute
Yeah.
because she looks like a child to
Yeah.
me. I want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
father her.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I'm gonna
like,
pat her on the head, give her a lollipop, and send her off.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
school.
yeah.
I mean,
get-
she's still in school.
Yeah.
yeah. Stay away from her, Dylan.
Sumaya is the only person with 2-star bakers this week and the youngest person here, and she herself said quickest to rise, first to fall. But she did practice this bake. She finished with time to spare. Paul was like, don't get too cocky. They said it looked incredible, but they said that it was more savory than sweet, too many different flavors, didn't identify as anything. Prue seemed to like it because it wasn't too sweet, but Paul was like,
Oh,
it's a little bit too much.
Not too sweet.
Not too sweet.
It's a good.
That's the best compliment you can give a dessert. Not too sweet. Yeah. The technical challenge was to make Spotted Dick, and everyone just got their giggles out early.
Hee hee hee.
Yeah. I haven't had Spotted Dick yet, but I did get sticky toffee pudding.
Yes.
Ooh.
I was going to say this because we've all been to the UK. I never saw Spotted Dick on a menu once.
They're
Sticky toffee
afraid.
pudding on the menu all the time. No one ever makes Spotted
Yeah.
Dick.
So I realized. Wait. Okay, I might be wrong,
Here we go.
but Neopets was founded by. Sorry.
Let's hear her out, everyone.
So I think Neopets was
2001
the
too?
The founder, yeah, I mean my it's present day for
Yeah,
me. No,
okay.
no. But actually, though, I had a strong urge after the election to be like, what if I just go back on Neopets and just lose myself to Neopets?
Is it still around?
Yeah, so they rebooted it recently. Like they started up and running again, but it wasn't working for so long because
Okay.
like Adobe Flash obviously is
Right,
obsolete.
yeah.
So yeah, it's back and going if anyone wants to play. But,
I do. I'm opening the tab.
Oh,
Get out
I'm
there.
deep in Pocket Pokemon
Oh, okay.
TCG.
Oh, sure.
We'll talk
A
about that
similar-
after because
similar
that will
concept.
take over the whole podcast.
Okay, but it was founded by like British. I think the founders were British.
Oh, okay.
Or at least one of them was. So I think they had a lot of like British things in there. So I think there was like a spotted dick, and there were spotted things, of course, in that
interesting.
world. And so I like feel like that's the only time I really knew about it as a kid. And I'm like, how did I know about that? Because I didn't know anything
Yeah,
British
yeah.
as a kid. But
Yeah.
anyway, never tried it still. But yeah, I wonder if that was on there. I can't remember. If somebody can figure that out, I'll look it up. But I wondered if that was, and I feel like the rendering of it was again early on in the early days of Neopets, so it looked
Right.
really strange. But
Sure,
it might have looked
yeah.
like a puddingy thing that had spots.
You put spots on anything
Yeah.
in a cartoon context. It's like, yeah, sure, you can call it Spotted Dick.
yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know if they called it Dick, but
I'm locking in.
Are you looking up Neopet Spotted Dick?
No, I was looking up just Spotted Dick,
Oh, sure,
which
yeah. Okay, what are you learning? Hit us.
there is we can buy Auntie's Delicious Spotted Dick, and it comes in packs of 2 from BritishFoodShop.com. I will be ordering some so
Okay.
that we can all have
Okay.
Spotted Dick before next episode.
We could also try and find a restaurant in LA that serves
Oh,
it on the
that's
menu.
how I
Oh,
found
yeah.
it because I
Yeah.
tried looking for places,
Oh, they don't.
and they
I don't know a
they-
single person who serves
yeah.
it.
Yeah, someone asked, where can I buy mushy peas in LA?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
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 So
I
I'm
feel, like,
gonna
I
just
feel like the likelihood of that is higher, though, because it is just a treatment of peas, whereas
Yeah.
Spotted Dick is like a whole ass dessert
full, yeah,
that like a pastry chef has to be
ingredients.
like, I'm going to make this, and there's
And-
no one's going to do that.
Right, and you can't use
Yeah.
those ingredients. I mean, you're not really like going to
Ooh.
repurpose.
Okay, I'm gonna do
Spotted
some
Dick.
research. I'm gonna see if we can find the
Circle back around.
restaurant, and all else fails, I'll buy that for us because
Amazing.
I just found a list of British restaurants.
I can't wait. While you're doing that, we'll talk about scoring here because there's a little bit of an edit thing.
Ooh.
They talk about how you have to make caramel to make the golden syrup, and they're like, the thing about this is it might crystallize. And they show a bunch of different people who are crystallizing their caramel, and they're saying things that imply they have started over. So here's how I'm going to rule this. Jill says, we'll try again. That
Yeah,
implies she started
fair
over.
enough. Yeah.
Christian tosses his pan to the side as if he is going to start over.
Yes.
Oh, right.
I think that's
Georgie, they cut to Georgie, and she was like, oh, that one looks better, implying that she had one that looks worse, so I'm going to say that was starting
Cool.
over.
Okay.
They showed Ilyeen's pan crystallizing, and her final product was not crystallized, so that implies that she also started over.
Okay.
That was what I could catch from the edit. So those 4 are going to get the points for starting over.
All right.
Yeah. And I remember Christian's like final one was kind of clearish or like not colorful
Yes,
enough. So
exactly.
then that probably was like him running out of
Yeah.
time, right? Or
I'm
something.
sure people are going to
Being
write in and
more
be like, you
careful.
missed this person. Whatever.
We love our fans.
We love our fans, whatever.
Right.
No. If you can point something out, but those are the 4 that I caught where I'm like, almost no one said like I am starting over again, but those are the ones where it was just implied that they did.
Yeah.
So that's where the points go. Okay, in order from worst to first, in 6th place was Sumaya, who forgot her sugar. She forgot her sugar, added it in late. First of all, she hates Spotted Dick. She's like, this is only for people over 50. Which, not even knowing that much about Spotted Dick, I kind of agree with, because again, never saw it on a single menu.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it just
Yeah.
feels like a
It's
relic.
not something because all of the hype British desserts we hear about, like sticky toffee pudding,
Lives up to the hype. Great.
which
Love
I will say Starbucks is doing like a.
Oh.
It is not called sticky toffee pudding, but it is very like sticky toffee flavored
Sure.
bunt.
Yeah, we all know what it is.
Yeah, and I was like, this kind of seems like a bootleg, and I got it, and it's pretty
Yeah.
good.
Okay.
I might bring that in, and we'll do that.
I'm down with that.
I love an excuse for us to eat on the pod.
Honestly, yes, love it.
We
Love
used to
it so
eat
much.
way more, and I want to ramp it back up. I want to ramp this shit right back
Yeah.
up.
I'm
Yeah,
ready
yeah,
to eat.
Anyway, so Sumaya's it got stuck in the pan. It came out all stodgy. She did cry. That is a half point. She made a joke about how she was crying over spotted dick, and then Jill said, "Never cry over a dick ever." And I was
Jill,
like, that
coming
is
from the future.
perfect
Like
advice.
they like this is just like I have many headcanons with people and who they are outside this show.
Yeah.
And this episode was the one that was like, oh yeah, Jill's a freak. Her and her husband are just
Oh my
They got
breaking that-
swings. They got
yeah,
toys.
That's-
they're destroying that. That is the most reinforced bed.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I will say Jill is like goals for life. You know,
Yeah.
She
I
just
agree.
seems like
Yeah.
she's like, because like if things go wrong, she's like kind of laughing it off too.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she's got, you know, cute relationship with her husband. And, you know, it's all these cute things.
Is that
she's
a-
at the pub with her dog.
Is that a thing I'm missing? Husb?
Well, I started saying something because I feel like everybody's like happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
so I'm all about happy husband, happy husb.
Ooh,
I don't know what
okay,
love
all
is,
right.
It's perfect. I love
But
it.
I
Don't
think
leak the
that's
next
where it
special
is.
here on the
Hey.
pod.
Yeah, save it. Save it for the
That's
stage.
a little joke for the fans.
Yeah.
A little sneak preview.
Sumaya's, when they were judging it, they did say the word raw. They said it tastes floury. It is raw, so that is -1 point. Sumaya at a net of negative half point right now. In fifth place was Ilyin, who, okay, this was another like Dylan thing. They had this exchange where Dylan was like, "Where's string in the instructions?" And Ilyin did that thing where she's like, "Just think about it for a second," and then he was like, "Oh, to tie it up," and she's like, "Yep, you got there. Great job." Woo! Heel turn for Dylan.
Yeah.
She did jokingly say, "Why am I helping him? It's like helping the enemy." I'm not gonna qualify that as helping. That was
Yeah.
scooching at best. It was not helping.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say that's no points.
Yeah, she made him work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's also like, I feel like I have that exchange with people all the time on both ends. I have been the Dylan and I've been the Ilyin.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Ilyin's was soggy and stodgy. They didn't like it. In fourth place was Jill, who was frustrated with her custard. They said the caramel needed to be darker. Her custard came out as scrambled egg.
So
And I was like,
gross.
how is that not last place?
So gross.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, it's like it's already called spotted dick, and then this like, you know,
Goop.
like
Yeah.
custard, like what's that? You know, curdled, I guess.
Yes,
looking,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Scrambled eggs is like
Well,
a rough way.
yeah.
Yeah. rough.
If like so my dad would make this custard thing when I was young, and I've made it as an adult, and I was like, ugh, it's not great. Because he would take the custard powder
Oh,
and
okay.
he would spin up cold water with it
Sure.
and then pour hot water in it.
Okay.
And it would like create the kind of like firm custardy
Mm-hmm.
like fixing of it, but like because no milk was used, it kind of has this hollow custard taste.
Mm-hmm.
And I've in attempts to make it like he did, it is so easy to get that like scrambled eggs thing that I feel like
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's par for the course for making
Sure.
custard.
And maybe that's why it wasn't last place. It's like,
Yeah.
well, that's not the hero.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I
also,
see.
it's a really easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I can get that. Thank you for shedding light on that.
Well, we'll see. 'Cause a British person might be like, if he is out of his beans here, like, what
It's
is he
never
talking
happened.
about? It's never happened to me.
In third place, getting a half point, was Christian, who had never had steamed pudding prior to moving to the UK, which I think is fair. I think that's really a British thing. We don't
Yeah.
have an equivalent here. We don't steam our doughs here, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was I didn't even realize that that's what that would be categorized as, steamed pudding.
steamed
I
pudding.
mean, you know, it's
Yeah.
kind of a strange. But I
Yeah.
mean, I guess
We
guess
bake
that's what it
here.
is.
There aren't. I mean, America in general, I think, doesn't do a lot of steamed desserts. I think
Yeah.
like Asians do steamed desserts,
sure.
Yes, indeed.
but that's really kind of flan. Maybe
Oh, I
you can
love
steam a flan.
I was a flan.
I see. Yeah,
away.
it could be similar.
Yeah.
Mostly because, Yoshinoya used to give you flan with the dessert.
Oh,
Turned you on. to that.
Yeah.
you're
yeah.
a Yoshinoya person.
Oh, I was, and everyone hates on Yoshinoya. They're
Yeah.
like, the meat looks kind of
Yeah.
weird. And yeah, but I have no argument against that. But it tastes good when it's all together and you get flan at the end. No restaurant is doing it like them. No one
Wow.
else is, except
Okay,
Carl's
okay.
Jr. I want you to stop. Like, I hate that Carl's Jr. gives you pies. Like, yuck. Like, and like a hand pie, like McDonald's
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
I don't, if I just ate Carl's Jr. I don't have a fork. I don't want a fork. Like, what are we doing here? I hate that. But Yoshinoya with the flan, you already got a fork. You probably use some chopstick. You got some ginger. Great.
I only learned as an adult that Yoshinoya has a reputation in LA of being like gross. My memory of it as a kid is like my mom was dating this dude and he was like, I love Yoshinoya. And I was like, you're cheesy. Yoshinoya is cheesy. I hate Yoshinoya.
Oh, no. He tarnished the good name.
Yeah, Yoshinoya is attached to your hate for your mom's ex-boyfriend. Like, yuck.
Yuck, gross, no thank you. And then as an adult, I felt like vindicated because I was like, that's right.
Yeah,
Fuck Yoshinoya.
I was like...
Unless they want to sponsor the podcast.
I was like... yeah, that's always
Come on
open.
for it.
Don't listen.
Yeah.
But Yoshinoya, I kind of was hyped with like how big it is in Japan too. And
Yeah.
And I think there was like a weeb like in me that like likes like, oh,
it's
this
from
is
Japan. It's got to be good.
well, also it's like an export that works. I feel like any
Yeah.
other thing from another country never like it's like, oh yeah, that's the American version. It's not good. Like, you know, Guinness hates American Guinness.
right.
Foster isn't actually drunk in Australia.
Sure.
So like it was
Sure.
like cool to be like, oh no, this is a thing.
I'll say Jollibee fucks everywhere. in the
Oh
world.
my god, I just
Oh,
had
hell
some
yeah.
last week.
Jollibee.
the best.
They hands down best pies in the game.
Yeah. Mango peach pie. Come on.
Come
Had
on,
their
man.
pie.
What are you
Oh,
doing?
man.
It's like
We're going
if
after this.
you know, on one of
Yeah,
Christian's good weeks, thought of a hand pie. You know,
I haven't been to Yoshinoya since I was like, you know, like playing basketball as a teenager.
Okay,
Like it was
brag.
like
We
a
got to use to play
you know?
basketball.
yeah.
No big
You
deal.
was dunking.
But I feel like, but yeah, I feel like that was like a big thing. It was like the team's going to get Yoshinoya afterward, which is like
Wow.
kind of funny. But yeah, do people still go there? I mean, I hope so.
They have
I mean,
to.
it's
still in
there's
business.
that
Yeah.
huge one that's off of Vine that just looks so empty.
Oh, yeah, I feel like it's a trend thing that's kind of gone downhill. But
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
they could pick it back up because people like Asian food now. Yeah, right. Like I feel like before it was.
I
kinda
know,
Like,
I feel
what is
like-
this exotic thing?
I feel like of all these like fast food companies and like American companies like poaching like anime stuff to
yeah.
I'm surprised Yoshinoya really didn't ride that wave
Sure,
because
sure.
they're like there's this specific type of weeb that would love to be like, yeah, I'm going to Yoshinoya.
Yeah.
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 Okay, we'll call him.
Yeah. We'll recommend a new marketing person to them. In second place, getting 1 point is Georgie, who doesn't like currants. And they said her custard's not bad. Sponge is nice. First place, Dylan, 1.5 points. He's never seen one, never eaten one. This is where they got like the boy wonder comment.
Yeah.
And it's just
That would be frustrating. Yeah,
It
that
would
would
be
be
so
frustrating
frustrating.
if you're because I feel like the other cousins like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, I just, you know,
I just dropped from the sky. And
I just kind of I
just
went
off
off
the
vibes.
dome. Yeah.
Went on vibes. You know, if I had a spotted dick, what would it taste like? You know,
oh god.
that type beat.
The Showstopper challenge was to make a tiramisu. They said it had to have the basic components of coffee, mascarpone, and ladyfingers, and you can add whatever else you wanted. This was another challenge where I was like, I wanted Jeff back in here. I
Well-
want to know what the New York guy's got to say.
Oh my god.
You know, like New
Forgot
York,
about him.
Italian.
Also, this has to be nuts, right? This has to be like if I was on this show, if I was a contestant
Yeah.
on this show, and I got disqualified because I couldn't make a fucking puppet show bake set work, and I
then
see you making
episode 7.
tiramisu.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm burning the tent down. I'm coming back. It's a wrap. You mean y'all got tiramisu and I had to make the fucking
puppet show.
the fucking Marion Bob Baker.
Oh my
Bob the Baker, you know, like I would have lost it. Tiramisu. That's
Good
it.
point. It's a good point.
It don't have to be on a spinning plate. It doesn't have to be rigged up by nothing. Just
Just
Oh
a
my
standard
God.
tiramisu.
True.
loose. This is what I'm talking about. See, now I feel less crazy. Everyone thought if he was crazy when he was like, why is there so much construction? Why is there this? Episode 7, tiramisu.
Tiramisu. You're right. You have been
That's true.
proven correct. Georgie made her old Italian with hazelnut praline. She just added hazelnuts to it. Basically, she was like, "This is an 80-year-old recipe from my family in Italy. I gotta use it."
She's Italian.
She did say that usually it's her auntie who makes it. I would call it a dedication, but then they showed a photo. Both aunties still alive, so no points there.
Also, I just love when someone's like, this is like the family recipe, and they just added a ingredient. It's like, here's my family's special
With my
cheesecake.
twist. Yeah.
We put sprinkles on top of it.
I did like the way this one looked. I'm such
Yeah.
a sucker. Like I love Neapolitan ice cream. So anytime I see like a splash of pink in a sea of chocolate, I'm like, I'm in. So I love the way this one looked.
So you would eat the whole thing. You wouldn't choose like a flavor and dig it out.
Well, this one, and I also like hazelnuts. So it's like the one that Georgie made is the one that is up my alley.
Yeah.
don't
I
think you
just
gotta
meant
fuck
like
with
for Neapolitan ice cream. You
Oh
would just,
yeah,
since
yeah.
you like
Straight
them
over
all
the top,
three-
all three.
Yeah.
Whoa,
No,
yeah,
I'm
the
going
true
straight.
combo.
I'm going straight for strawberry.
Strawberry. Yeah,
Mm.
that's interesting.
Right, then chocolate, then vanilla's left.
It's you gotta stop knocking that over.
Oh yeah, and then what's spumoni?
Um,
That's like
It has nuts in it, right?
pistachio.
Yeah, pistachio, chocolate, cherry. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Interesting. Madness.
I feel like that one is a little bit more of a like. There's not a lot of spumoni in the freezer aisle, but when I was a kid, like growing up, and you went to like, hey, what flavor ice cream do you
Oh,
want?
yeah,
It's
people
like,
were
well, there's
like-
3 in 1, so I want that one.
Oh, interesting. More bang for your buck.
Yeah, exactly.
While we're in the ice cream corner, what was like the ice cream that you were like?
I could talk about this forever, because my dad was big on ice cream. My parents divorced when I was very young, so I got
Yeah.
very little from my dad. The one thing I got from my dad was love of ice cream. We like befriended the ice cream man. And then my dad asked him where his supplier was, and then we started going to like the place that sells ice cream to ice cream men.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And like stocking up in bulk.
Upstream.
Whoa, yeah, that is
Yeah.
4D chess.
Yeah, and now I'm the person where it's like every city I'm in, I'm like, what are the ice cream spots? Like I could talk about LA ice cream
Yeah.
forever. We
I-
simply don't have time on this podcast.
Yeah.
We have to get through 6 more people in like 5 minutes.
Okay. I was just gonna point out that like the Breyers commercials worked on me because you remember it's
Yeah.
like it's the speckles. It lets you know it's real vanilla.
Oh
and
yeah.
and so like I
All
would
for
like
that.
ask my dad for Breyers, and when I do, I'd be like, "Oh, the speckles, it's real vanilla."
This
We're gonna
one's
find out
real.
it was
Yeah.
carcinogenic in 5
Sure.
years, but like,
okay.
For a lot of my Instagram followers, for a while, a couple years ago, I think it's the Breyers Corporation, now it's Good Humor, announced that the Viennetta was coming back, which like I loved as a kid. Viennetta was sort of an ice cream cake. It was just like ice cream in like a loaf shape that it was sold in the freezer aisle. And it existed in the 90s, and I remember the commercials, I remember loving it, and then they announced it was coming back, and then I couldn't find it in grocery stores for like a full year. And then finally, like, I started to find it, and I've had it now, and it's
did it live up to like your
Sort of.
nostalgia hype?
it's like it wasn't that great to begin with.
Yeah.
They were right to discontinue it. But like now that it's back, it's like
fair.
okay, fine, yeah. It's like it does not,
Not offensive.
yeah, it doesn't impact my life in any positive
Yeah,
or
yeah.
negative
Well,
way.
if I can speak things in, they need to bring mimosas back to Homestay.
Oh,
Yeah, I went there for brunch.
Homestay took away mimosas.
Yes, and I went there and I was like, "There's mimosas." He was like, "We don't have it." First of all,
Oh,
if I'm asking for something, you see me, you know
this has
I
happened to
eat.
me too. Yes.
It's like, don't say like I'm
yeah.
crazy.
Sure,
Obviously,
yeah.
it's some shit that existed. That's why I'm asking
yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, you used to have a mimosa, and I was about to straight up pull because.
Yes.
So the reason I remember the mimosas is because after me and like our first date, we had like a 3-day
Oh, so this is
date.
emotional now.
We went to Home State and we had the mimosas where
Yeah.
they put it in there. And so
Yeah.
I know it had a picture, specifically because my ex thought that I was dating him when I posted that.
Oh,
and she was
okay.
like, you hooked up with me a week ago. And I was like, no,
Okay,
that's not what happened.
you're airing this on the podcast.
Yeah,
just so
because
it's
just in
public
case
record.
she's listening,
Yeah.
that's not what happened. And I went through because here's the thing: I will like if you did this thing, I'm gonna believe you before I believe myself.
Sure.
So I was like very apologetic and sad, and then
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went and did the like time. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I've done this
no,
too,
no,
yeah.
no, 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 no.
I was
just
right.
said I was right.
Yeah, yeah.
Like no, I didn't. I don't move like that. Anyway. So I know they had it.
They
So
have
I was getting ready to
mimosas,
put it.
yes.
He was like, "Oh no, it probably just went away." He was like, "Not enough people were ordering it." I was like, "I should have came."
Yeah.
It was me.
Oh.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's happened to me
single-handedly.
before too. Going to a restaurant, being like, I know this is on the menu, and they're like, that we stopped making that, and I'm like, no, I was just here, and they're like, we stopped making it a year ago, and I was like, okay, I'm sorry.
It's
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, memory
Yeah.
works weird when you're in
Yeah.
the spot.
Okay, Dylan made a concrete box with cured egg mascarpone cream, cured egg yolks, love it, amazing, so good. Prue had never had it.
Beautiful.
A lot of drama making the box. I'm trying to skip ahead so much.
Yeah, sorry about that.
This is no, it's all
you
of
said
our
we had
faults.
5 minutes left, and I went into a whole backstory about my
Justify your
relationship,
relationship.
and then spoke to my ex-girlfriend
And here's the
who
thing,
doesn't
I
listen
want
to
to
this.
ask more questions because you opened it by being like, Em and I went on a 3-day first date, and I'm like, hold on, I need more information, but there simply isn't enough time. Okay, they said it was a pretty box.
It's a good box. It's a good
It was
box.
good. It was a good box. Okay, we gotta go. Jill made a coconut latte. Charlotte Russe. I didn't know Charlotte Russe was the thing. I thought Charlotte Russe was a clothing store for
Oh,
women.
it is. It is.
Me
It is.
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
we're
now,
not-
what is it otherwise?
It's this.
It's a cake.
It's a cake with the lady fingers on the outside. That's a Charlotte Russe.
Oh.
Weird.
I know. Yeah.
Weird use
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Charlotte Russe.
Her husband.
Maybe she made it, the person who owns the store.
I wouldn't. There has to be some sort of connection.
Yeah.
Anyway, her Jill's husband Steve tasted it for her and did a good job
Oh,
because
right.
it came out
She hates
delicious.
coffee.
She hates coffee. She called this the fifth circle of hell, but she did well. Ilian made a jewelry box with spun chocolate and cherries. Paul was mystified at the idea of spun chocolate, judging by his face. Prue called it a little triumph, which I think I'm going to make a rule for next year. She says a little triumph
She
a lot.
does say that.
I feel like that's
yeah,
worth
she
some
needs
points.
her little. She needs a thing.
She needs a
maybe, Prue.
catchphrase, yeah.
Yeah, because she doesn't know what's important yet, so she'll make sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Christian made a Memphis Milano inspired cake, which I loved. Pistachio, strawberries, and rose water, and Marsala wine. Went back to the rose water.
Wow.
Real bold move,
What is
but
he
he
doing?
threw
But yeah,
rose water back
he
in.
worked it out.
Oh, it is. I looked it up. It is. The store is named after the cake.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Why? No, we don't have time. No, we don't have time.
Do it on your own time.
I love Christian's. Do you guys know Memphis Milano? Are you fashion people?
No, but I do have to stop to be like, they named a store for plus size clothing after a cake.
It's a little fucked up.
Yeah, that's a little fucked up. Okay, now we can
Wait. Okay. Move on.
Memphis Milano is like when you think of like the 80s, you know, like Saved by the Bell, like extreme, like sort of like bright colors and weird shapes. That's Memphis Milano. And so that was his cake was a little,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
you know, like the little
All
like
right.
pink half moons. It's like, I
Oh,
thought
right. Yeah, he had those.
it was a
half-moon
nice
things.
design.
Yeah, it totally looked like that.
Okay, we gotta talk a little bit about Sumaya's cake because she made a coffee lemon curd mousse cake. You could see it right on their faces. I feel like this happens rarely on a cooking show where someone is like, "What are you making?" and then they tell them and they're like, "Oh no, I don't want to have to taste that later."
Or sure, coffee and lemon curd. A lot of.
Simply don't go together. I was
but-
horrified.
But then at the same time, like, yes, I think like it's acidic. It's like a lot of clash of flavor.
Yeah, I've never been to a coffee shop and been like, "I'll have the lemon frappuccino." You know what I mean?
I thought that too, and I haven't either. But I guess I'm thinking of like people do tonic water and coffee or espresso
yeah,
tonic.
that's not my favorite.
But I feel like
I know
it's
what you
like
mean.
two
Similar.
acidic things together, and
Yeah.
I do like. I found that to
Okay.
be okay. So I'm like, well, maybe I trust Sumaya and her flavors, but then maybe
I
not.
wanted to trust her. She was my first round draft pick. Of course, I wanted to
Yeah.
trust her, but I'm like,
Yeah.
lemon and coffee is just like a bridge
No.
too far for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's ways you can make it work because coffee, when made, like a lot of like, I think like medium roast has like citrusy notes,
Sure.
but I think lemon is
It's
a bridge
too
too
much.
far.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I
It's
think
like
you
the
can go.
Starburst.
Like I think
Yeah.
you can go with orange. Like there's an orange cream.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so-
Absolutely. Orange and chocolate go well together. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
orange and coffee? But it was just
More sweet.
they danced around it. They're like, it's very sharp. The thinner layers would have been better. It was all this stuff that's
Yeah.
dancing around, just saying like, this is gross.
Yes.
In line for Star Baker was Dylan and Georgie. It's 1 point apiece. And they said, and I think this is true, from now on we're sending good bakers home. Every person who gets eliminated, just like you just had a bad week.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Our Star Baker was Dylan. That's 2 points. Swept the whole episode. Prue gave Dylan a little kiss, and Paul said, "Great job, buddy." And I was like, "He's their son." They're fully.
Oh yeah, they're locked in,
Cute.
which definitely made everyone hate him more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sumaya leaves the tent. My number one draft pick. I'm very sad to see her go.
Shocker.
Yeah,
tough.
Truly, yeah. And Prue said she's very talented and artistic. Just
Bad week.
bad
Yeah.
week.
We knew that could happen.
And now we're in the quarterfinals. Okay, here's our points breakdown for this episode. Our rules are on our Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. The technicals, first place Dylan, it's 1.5 points. Second place Georgie, it's 1 point. Third place is Christian with a 0.5 point. In line for Star Baker with 1 point apiece, or Dylan and Georgie. Star Baker was Dylan with 2 points. Handshake, Dylan, 2 points. Starting over, Georgie, Jill, Christian, and Eileen with a 0.5 point each. Georgie actually started over twice in the episode, but we've gone over this in other episodes. More than one instance in one episode is just one instance of the point scoring. Christian and Georgie both get a point for helping a fellow baker. They helped out Jill. Sumaya gets a 0.5 point for crying, and she loses 1 whole point for a raw bake. So at the end of this week, I gain 1.5 points. Sierra, you gain 4 points. Iffy, are you ready for this? You
Yeah.
gain 7 points.
Let's go.
A whopping 7 points. Dylan earned a monster 6.5 for you
wow,
this week.
wow.
Georgie also no slouch at 3.5 points. Sumaya on my team took away a half point on her way out the door. So
God damn it.
thank you.
Give me that
Sumaya. So our rankings as of right now, I'm in last place with 27 points. Iffy, you're in the middle of 29.5. Sierra in the lead with 30.5.
Wow.
Wow.
So it is close, but I will say my team is now down to just Christian, and they do not like him.
No.
So it's like, could I win? Sure.
Yeah,
I'm not holding my breath.
There is a world in which Christian goes on a tear where
Would
these
love it.
weird flavors start connecting in ways where they're like, oh damn, you're
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would love it. It's not
He's
going to happen.
obviously, technically a great baker.
Yes.
He makes good looking shit.
Not for this show.
We don't know about the taste.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't know about that.
So I'm going to unofficially say I'm not going to win this season, but you are within 1 point of each other.
Okay.
So this is really exciting. Folks, if you like this podcast, first of all, please tell your friends, and thank you so much. You can also visit MaximumFun.org/join. That's where you can support us for as little as $5 a month. It would mean the world to us. If you have any thoughts, drop us a line on Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League. You can also send us an email, chef@MaximumFun.org. Tag us, let us know how your league is doing. For full unedited episodes, check us out on YouTube. Thanks again to my co-hosts Sierra Kato and Iffy Wadiwe. We'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.